Start the recording. Start the stream. All right. Hey, everyone. This is OotiniCast episode 380 being recorded on January 28th, 2020. Recorded on January 28th, 2020. There's that. Recorded on January 28th, 2020. I gotta mute that. And yeah, so we start the actual show in just a few minutes. This is, of course, the raw version of the show with all the flubs and stuff, and then we will clean it up and put it out as a podcast tomorrow. And then this raw version will go out as a YouTube video as well. All right, so let's see. So, Doc, are you running Audacity? It sounds like, Marcus, you are already?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. And Marcus, you're just going to leave without the camera then?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay. We can give you a minute if you need it.
I just don't know where the heck I would find it. I don't know where it would be. Oh, it wouldn't be in my,
I'll go ahead and tweet out the show.
NVIDIA control panel, maybe? See, I have no idea where it is. Nick turned it off on me.
Ah.
Because we have a webcam for the show when we go live.
There we go. Might as well retweet it as well since we got a minute.
Oh, you can start the show. I'll just, if I can figure it out.
Okay. That's fine. So
how do you get to your properties?
Let's see. I think there's that gear, but right now I don't want to do that right now because I have. I have this set up the way I want it to. I don't want to change anything, even by accident.
No, I'm with you.
Why does that say it's connecting to chat? Let me try reloading my... Okay. All right, we're fine. Okay, so if you're ready, Doc, you ready as well?
Almost. I'm trying to get my webcam going.
Okay. That's funny. Everyone's webcam is acting up today.
Well, no, I'm trying to broadcast from my favorite SWTOR planet today.
You're working on the background then. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I got it. It's about to happen.
This is so weird. Nick does it all the time. I thought you just right click.
Hey, there you are, Doc. Oh, there's a bit of a line there where your pop filter is cut off. Do you see that?
Yeah, if I do that, then you won't. It's just gonna have to be that way.
Okay, it's just the way it is. Got it.
Yeah.
Something about the green screen. I take it.
Yeah. The green screen is round instead of square.
Ah, okay.
So I have to crop it or else.
Oh, cool. And so you're a big Osis, the look of Osis fan, huh?
Uh-huh. I'm a huge fan of Osis. It's my favorite.
Didn't get tired of it at all at the end of the little... Oh, wow, look at that can.
Oh, wow. My can...
Makes you invisible or whatever.
I'm drinking forced soda. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So green. So is that like a Sprite or something? Or...
It's a Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew? Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And this is why the pre-show is the best.
It's always, yeah.
We need to edit this into the end of the show as I don't know, bloopers or something. Or Patreon exclusive.
Okay. Are we good then? Marcus, are you... Is it...
Oh, yeah. I'm ready to go whenever.
All right. We'll get going. All right. So just give me a minute here. Have a little water, and then we'll get going. All right. Going in 5, Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast. 190 episodes times 2. You look great. This is episode 380, being recorded on Tuesday, January 28th, 2020. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, Dr SWTOR. Hey, Doc.
Hang on, I can't start the podcast. I'm checking your math. Wow, what a way to start the episode.
And we have a guest today. It is Marcus, returning from Working Class Nerds. How you doing, Marcus? Uh-oh, did we lose Marcus? Oh, he was working on... Oh, hey, Marcus, there you are.
Hi!
How you been? How are things going?
Everything is good. I'm recording in my shop, and what's funny is during the day you never know who can walk into the shop. So a guy just showed up and he's picking up some cabinet doors we drilled out for him. So it's always crazy in here, but things have been great. I've been really busy in game learning how to tank. It's been quite the experience.
Oh, cool.
I think it's gone from really, really terrible to less terrible.
Right.
I wouldn't say it's quite good yet, but I think it's getting there. Other than that, I've just been, just trying to work as much as I possibly can and play as much as I possibly can without getting too frustrated because of tanking.
And are you are you in operations? What kind of operations are you tanking in now?
So we only do hard mode. I try really hard to not do story mode anymore.
Nice.
To be honest with you, and this is going to be elitist sounding, and I don't want it to sound like that, but tanking in story mode is so easy.
Right.
All you literally need to do is throw your saber and just make sure you taunt and you win. and then going from that to hard mode makes you almost wake up to how difficult the game can be. And, and when you throw mechanics in there, we started progression on, why can't I think of it? Doc?
Temple of Sacrifice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the progression of it is great because everybody's learning, and when you're learning, it's progression. And I keep saying it because you may get frustrated, because Doc shot too much lightning too quick, and things are dying too fast. But at the same time, everybody's learning the fight. Everybody's learning how to do this together because we've never done it before as a team. So now how do I say it? So now the real progression comes in, and because of it, it's learning. That's, I don't know, Doc, am I saying it right?
I mean, I'm not grading you. I'm trying really hard to just let you be you and not give you a C or a B minus. But we're on the walkers. That's where our evening ended on Sunday. And just in terms of how progression works in that mentality, with story mode, really, you can aim to just clear the boss. And there is some progression if you're new to how ops work, but you don't, in story mode, I don't remember having evenings where it's like, oh, we got the boss to 30%. That was a successful evening. The story mode gods kind of help you get that last 30% because mechanics will be missing or they're incredibly weak, so your characters survive them.
Well,
whereas the hard mode mentality is, well, we got Walker 1 to 40% this time, and we got him to 37% this time, and so you end the night and your team 1 through 8. I talk about that all the time if you watch my stream. 1 through 8. What I mean when I say that is you can't finish that last 30% just by the tank playing well. The tank, the other tank, all 4 DPS, and the 2 healers all will have to play well because once you lose one person, you'll lose another, and you'll lose another, and then the attrition kicks in and you're done. So, Marcus, it's incredible that you're taking so much responsibility for how our team is doing. but you're wrong.
Thank you. No, yeah, but it's so. What I'm trying to say is, this game doesn't have tanks, right? And it seems to be that is where we're most in need, because every time we lose somebody, it seems to be a tank. So I had a choice: is struggle to find another tank and be happy that they're there to stick around, or step up and do it for the group and make everybody else deal with my terribleness for a short period of time till I can figure it out. And so
everyone that listens needs to send a tweet to @MarcusB814 on Twitter and just like stroke his ego and say, "You're not terrible, Marcus." And then
I said
Doc
terrible.
Doc sent us to help you feel better, console your feelings.
Well, no, that's what I'm trying to say is I feel good now. And that's my point, is the progression has pushed me to feel better about doing it. And losing to the Walkers on Sunday night is everybody wants to win, right? But now when we go back there next week, it's going to feel even better when we do win, because we know what it's like to lose.
Right.
And it's really exciting. And that, to be honest with you, that's pretty much been my SWTOR's just operations. But we did get some news from the developers today, so I'm sure we'll hear all about that.
Yeah.
And Doc's going to tell you exactly what I just said in a different way.
Oh, no. I have an agenda today.
All right.
Okay, Doc. Yeah. What you been up to?
Well, on Thursday, my team, going by the name Evil Intentions, is still progging through Ducks in Nature of Progress on veteran mode, and we got to spend the whole evening on the Apex Vanguard, which is the final boss, and we made about 50% progress on his health bar on Thursday, so that's really, really awesome. And our tanks are doing I'm lightning DPS in that team. As far as I can tell, our tanks are really putting together where they stand and when, and timing is everything, and using the right science lab consoles the right way. That's what that whole fight is about. Okay. So they're having an incredible time getting to actually use their brain during that fight. And I am just basically parsing a dummy and not standing in a yellow circle for 3 hours every Thursday night. So that brings me to my gripe of the week for BioWare. Why is this fight so boring for everyone except for the tanks? That's kind of my thing right now. Is it really the first? Hey, the webcam for Marcus is working.
Yay! There you are. Hey.
All right,
looking good.
Oh, you're so happy looking today. All right, so back at the ranch. Can I say that on this show? Oh, yes. So the way the fight works is there's, compared to other fights, even compared to the rest of the op, I literally feel like it doesn't matter much what I'm doing until we get to those fights where the tanks have it figured out so well that it's kill time. Okay. And that's the other problem, is such a long fight. Like you're DPSing the boss for 6 minutes and you look at his health bar and it's 71% or something. That's not actually the numbers, but it feels like we've been trained since 2011 or 12 to think 6 minutes of a boss, the boss should almost be dead. And you look at this one's health bar and it's like, what? How did we only do that much damage in this massive amount of time? So each poll takes up a huge chunk of the evening. And, you know, there's a video that I put in our show notes. So if anyone wants to look at our show notes and watch this, it's from some guys that do these cartoon videos about game design. Their channel is called Extra Credits. And I've been watching them forever. They're actually a huge part of the way that I look at games. But they're coming at it from the game angle. So, but they're often talking about things that are psychologically about the design of the game and the impact on the player and thought processes.
Yes.
The video that I linked is about difficulty and how different video games keep the flow of playing the game going in a certain direction, and how some difficulty is good difficulty and other difficulty is flow breaking difficulty, and it's actually not good for the experience of the game. And I'm going to label Apex Vanguard as bad difficulty.
Okay.
So you're welcome, Matt Pusevich. That's straight from Dr. SWTOR.
Okay. Can I just say something with that? So
we have you on the show, so you can.
All right, great. So you are important, because if you don't kill the boss in time, the boss enrages, or in this case, the whole like area of the floor turns into fire or flood, or you guys all die. So you are important, but what I'm trying to hear you say, and I think is all you have to do in that fight is shoot lightning out of your hands. That's it. That's all you have to worry about. And you like a fight where you have a little bit of a job to do. Like in the walkers, like you're running the bomb.
The poison circle mechanic is more devastating on hard mode. So the DPS and healers on Thursday night, we made a major step forward and figured out what to do with that. And more often than not, we do that right. It's on a timer. It happens every 90 seconds or 2 minutes or something. But my point is, until we get to the point where the tanks do their job well enough where a kill is possible, I could do 0 DPS and just not die in the yellow circles. Like, it literally doesn't matter what I do, because the DPS do not push the fight except for another mechanic, the massive electrical current move that one-shots. So that's a DPS check. But you only need I guess 2 DPS that don't have the blind debuff. So I guess what I'm saying is, Isaacs, you are going from thing to thing and goal to goal, and it was a 20-minute fight or 18-minute fight originally, and you're pulling that 10 or 12 times in an evening, but you're doing those 7 different phases, and so it's less mundane or monotonous. And I feel like fights like this they induce fatigue for the game, like, because your brain is just doing one note the entire evening until you kill the boss. So I guess the solution is, let's kill the boss, and then my gripe's over. And then Marcus already talked about Temple of Sacrifice, which is fun because when 5.0 ended, that version of Death Star Troopers, if we want to call it like a sports team language, the 2018-19 Death Star Troopers made it to Revan. But we had some free agents that left and took better contracts with different teams. And we had to sign people and do some trades, and now
I went from a 3-point shooter to the center.
Well, centers shoot threes now. Have you been paying attention? Like, Dwight Howard hits like one every week for the Lakers, at least. It's amazing. So our new team is progging Temple of Sacrifice again because we have cleared our roadmap up to that point. So although we have some people who have cleared the walkers many times, Marcus is in a different role. And it's very different being a tank instead of a marauder, because a marauder wishes it was a tank, and the tank actually gets to tank. So we just need to get it to where the tank doesn't die, because the marauder dying actually wasn't that big of a deal in the last year's version of our team. Sorry, Marcus. So it's fun. Like, it's neat to try and get our new people. Both healers are new to our team. We have one new DPS right now to our team. And so we're progging again on that op. So hopefully we'll get to do the Underlurker and the Commanders and Revan soon.
Nice.
So who's with us today, Chill?
All right. Let's look at the chat list here. Dekion, our guild leaders here. Giza, Intisar Nor, Medulla, Squishy Twitchy. Hey, everyone. Let's see. So I've been just doing a lot of leveling and so on still, really enjoying that. I've I'm done with the Lara Croft character. She's all the way through her story. So I've got Gwenpool through Kotet, so she's going to be on to like Iokath next. And Deadpool is done with Rishi, so he's on to Yavin. So I've got those sort of at that level. And then I also started a War Machine cosplay. I'm pretty happy with him, how he looks and so on. He's in Act 2. We just finished Quesh, so we're off to Hoth next. And for him, he's going to be my armor mech. That's like the last crafting that I don't have right now at the max level. And so I've been like, every time I've been making these other characters, I've been filling one of those slots and getting them up to 700. And he is my armor mech. So what I've been doing is not using the leveling gear, and I'm not even using the XP boosts, because that's basically a way to force me to do like side missions and world arcs and stuff besides the class story. And so I'm actually seeing like, the Tatooine world arc that I haven't done for a little while, stuff like that. And it's been a lot of fun. It actually makes a pretty good cosplay, pretty accurate. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm enjoying that a lot. So just been playing the hell out of SWTOR the last couple weeks, but just enjoying the leveling. So
when you don't go with all those boosts, do you still kind of separate yourself from the level, or how is that working now, since experience is generally bloated in SWTOR?
Right. Well, it's still like not as hard as it was like when the game first launched. So I'm not finding myself like having to do like every mission, and then also maybe, hitting flashpoints or doing the on-rail space missions along the way. But definitely like, without the XP boost and without the XP gear, I definitely need to do most, if not all, of the world arcs along the way. And then I've done, I did the Esselis, and I did like one on-rail space mission, stuff like that. So I'm picking up stuff along the way that way.
I've never done one of those space missions.
Oh, really? They're really kind of beautiful. There's a lot of nice music. They look really cool. And
are you flying?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You're on rails.
You're on rails. So you're essentially like not on a rail, but essentially like the game kind of generally
like a roller coaster ride,
like a roller coaster ride, but you can control like sort of where you are within that invisible tube, essentially, to avoid like incoming fire and rocks and stuff like that. And there's like shields, and you can balance your shields versus your blasters. And it's like I say, it looks really beautiful. If you like, when you go to a new planet and you see your ship like enter the atmosphere and all that, or join, at least park outside the atmosphere, and it is all beautiful. Well, the on-rail space missions is very much in that vein. It looks just gorgeous. They did a really good job with it. So it's not used a lot by a lot of people, but I just really like. I've always enjoyed how it looks, and I used to play it a lot because back in the day, the XP was not as bloated as it is now, and you did have to find ways to XP up, and that was one of my main ways, actually. So I'm really enjoying that. Haven't seen the Trooper arc in quite a while, so that's been good too. And
the Trooper.
So I've been enjoying that a lot. So let's move on to the tip of the week. We didn't have anyone send any tips. I should remind people. So I added a tip myself, and this is it. Going to Nar Shaddaa. Well, when you leave your ship, you'll have to travel all the way outside the docking bay and the spaceport until you're outside almost to the taxi before you can quick travel, or you have to go to the taxi. But if instead you go to your Nar Shaddaa stronghold and then use exit to Nar Shaddaa as your method of leaving your stronghold, it'll put you on the promenade, which is a great place to be. It's very central. There's lots of good stuff. And just as importantly, you can immediately quick travel anywhere you need to go. And you can use this similarly for other strongholds, but Nar Shaddaa happens to be the one I use the most, probably because there is already a Capital World transport available. It's only like 20,000 credits, so I usually unlock that on every character. But you could use that with your Drummond Kaas or your Coruscant stronghold as well. And of course, I I don't find myself traveling to like Tatooine as much, and Yavin 4 and stuff like that. I certainly don't travel to as much either. But I find myself going to Nar Shaddaa a fair bit. Every year pretty much they have the casino event, the nighttime event, and there's certain other reasons why you might want to actually go to Nar Shaddaa. So there you go. If you do have a tip, send it in to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show for a chance to win a Tonfon or M83R droid pet code, or now there's a new one, the M2B9 droid code. And those are all courtesy of BioWare, and also an OotiniCast provided Cartel Market pack from the latest shipment. And that, let's see, we do not have a Jedi Mind Trap trap this week, correct, Doc?
Nope.
All right, so let's get on to the holo feed. Let's see, I need to move this. Hang on one sec. And there we go. Boom, okay. Because I actually put the news in the long,
I'm so
wrong
excited
little
for
slot
this.
here.
I'm so excited for this next part.
All right. Well, let's see. The Alderaan Stronghold is back on the PTS, which is preparing for the next patch coming in February, and we have learned when that is. We'll be getting to that in very shortly. So when the round 2 on the PTS went out, Eric said our plan right now is to bring the PTS by the end of the week, which it is now. And here are the changes: variety of bug fixes, including issues such as expansion doors not opening after purchase, a number of changes throughout the stronghold to hook quantity, and placement. Hooks have been added to the ancient ruins area outside. Taxis will now be Thrantas, which is pretty cool. And because there was the little taxi there, but it was a regular taxi. Now it's a Thranta. I love it.
That's a good change.
Yeah, and apparently, they're working on fixing the map for it. And yeah, so it's a really cool stronghold. I did check it out on the first round of the PTS, and there's a lot of nice little details in there. There's a Killik area that you can open, stuff like that. So it's really, really nice. It is planned that you will be able to mount everywhere in the stronghold. When I was on the PTS, yeah, there were indoor parts where you were being dismounted.
There were so many voices crying out and then being silenced over that.
Okay. So I'm gonna interject because Jill, I asked a few people this. Do you care about a stronghold? I'm going there right away.
Oh,
like is a strong, like when you close your eyes and think about content for the game, is a stronghold what you wish for? That's my first question to you.
I definitely want, well, as it turns out, like I have unlocked them all, but I've pretty much stuck with my Nar Shaddaa stronghold because I happen to like that one and set up the way I like and stuff like that.
That's my home.
So I definitely like to have a stronghold for sure, and I enjoy like running around the other ones and learning about them. But am I going to like use all of them equally? Probably not. So I guess the question is like, is Alderaan, enough of a draw that people will be interested in strongholds, or at least this stronghold, where they might not be interested in other strongholds?
It's a bad investment. You can't buy an Alderaan stronghold because in 3,000 years it's not going to be there. You know what's going to happen.
Oh man, you're going all real estate on
You are a long-term investor.
You won't be able to rent out the Alderaan stronghold.
But I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know this, and Nick and I talked about it on our show, and what I'm trying to figure out is where they decide that the content we're going to get for a game update is a stronghold over real content.
Oh, okay. So what's real content?
You mean like story content?
Story content, PvP map, operations, flashpoints, like non-fluff. A stronghold to me is fluff, and what I'm trying to say is, I guess I don't know, because I've asked some people in the populace, like our good friend and friend of your show too, Intasar. He loves a stronghold. He loves decorating it. He loves getting it.
Yeah.
He loves getting the new decorations for that stronghold. All that stuff I understand, but for me, I guess I'm in the minority, maybe. And I guess me asking you is just starting or continuing the conversation of is a stronghold what the SWTOR community wants, or is that just the fluff that the developers can give us?
Well, I don't think we have a percentage, but I know that Doc, when he did his dissertation, I mean,
I'm going there right now.
There we go. Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead, Doc.
Oh no, I'm trying to pull it up.
Okay. I'll vamping then. Well, basically, there's a lot. He found that there was just a lot of strong evidence that the whole space Barbies, making your character look exactly how you want, and that includes other things, like changing your stronghold and making it look how you want, is apparently just a very strong. It's a very strong desire for a lot of people in the game. So I get where you're coming from, because I mean not that I've done it for a couple of expansions, but I used to be an operations person. I was just doing operations all the time, and and anything that wasn't pretty much end game content didn't interest me as much. Although I was still doing a lot of leveling just because I love the story. But and the strongholds are pretty, but. And I've enjoyed throwing some decos here and there, but it's not really my thing. So yeah, we'll have to hear what Doc says once he has his dissertation data pulled up.
Well, so what I'm looking at, and this is from 3.0 era. That's when everyone voted with their data. Okay, so we did not even have the hyper story of Valkorion and his Game of Thrones. So the strongholds that we had at that time, I know we definitely had the capital worlds and Nar Shaddaa.
Yep.
I am not even sure we would not have had. Did we have Yavin 4 yet? I feel like
maybe
we might.
Not. I'm not sure.
Maybe okay.
Yeah, no, it did.
Nothing after that.
It did come out during Shadow of Revan because of the Yavin thing. And I think we would have had Tatooine, because I think that was an early one as well.
So what I'm getting at is, if you include strongholds as part of character customization, like you just did, Chill, you can make a case that strongholds are much more popular than it appears. But if you separate it out like it's its own play activity and not part of Space Barbies, then it actually becomes even less popular than operations and PvP, which tend to be more content focused and challenge focused, winning focused, I guess. So there's no way to lose Space Barbies except by settling for something that looks wonky. So
right.
Most people don't tend to log off at the end of the evening feeling like they lost at Space Barbies. And I think with strongholds, you get a bit of that. I even feel a bit of that, because sometimes I want my stronghold to look good, but I don't have the decorations I need to make it look good. So then I just try to fill it up. And then now there's so many strongholds with hundreds and hundreds of hooks that I don't actually have enough to fill it up unless I want to actually use my 10,000 Satil Shan lightsaber stands. So you get to this point where I don't know what the demand is to have one on Alderaan, or is it just a dream of, Keith and the rest of the team to give us so many choices that new players of the game don't end up being those Nar Shaddaa type people? Because I use only that one too, because the opening room is perfect for everything. I have my 3 droids, I have my 3 Jawas, I have all 3 of my cargo bays, I have the GTN, and I even have room for my Brontes statue. So it's this perfect stronghold, because it is big. You can travel through the whole thing in 40 seconds. And the first room is perfect for utility. Other strongholds I don't feel are designed perfectly in that respect. That sometimes the best room for utility is the next room over. I don't even know what Rishi is good for, because
it's too big.
I could not find the final door to pay for. for a long time
Right.
on that stronghold. So it's really just an interesting question, Marcus. I can't answer it, but it would appear that people don't care as much about strongholds.
Let's
but
do a poll.
The people that do spend money to at least unlock the stronghold because of how legacy works. So that's taking a $15 per month person and turning them into a $35 per month person. And that is probably why it's worth creating a new stronghold.
Right.
Okay. I think that'd be a good poll, because I don't have that answer, and I guess for me, and I'm gonna repeat the word, I just feel like it's a fluff content. It's just fluff, but it could be a money sink that we don't know, because every time they release a stronghold, there's a decoration bundle or two that you can get on the cartel market for 5,000 cartel coins.
Right.
So is it a money sink is it a money win for them, I guess?
Right. And it's also a credit sink, so, to help pull some of the
'cause
credits out of the game, because
what
there are
was it,
always
12
multiple
million
million.
credits
Yeah,
to
it's always
unlock
multiple
Rishi?
millions. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And I don't know how difficult it is to make a stronghold. Like, maybe it's not as difficult as it is. I imagine that, obviously it's going to take a fair bit of work to get it done. But on the other hand, you're not having to design, boss fights and tune them. You're not having, you're just having to create a physical space, basically, with, and then the hooks and stuff. But you're not having to, like, balance things. You're not having to, come up with, like, new mechanics that haven't been in the game, or that at least feel like they haven't been in the game, or there's a big twist to it, stuff like that. So it'd be also interesting to see, like, how much of developer time does it take to do this versus make a war zone, make a flashpoint, add a new boss to an operation.
Well, in the chat, Venaros actually said Rishi lets him 1 versus 2 people, and then at the same time, Medulla says in the chat, Rishi is the only way to parse if you're a healer. So those are valid.
Parse. Yeah,
that's right.
Those are valid
uses. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to backtrack. When I said I don't even know what Rishi is for, I meant it's too big.
It's too big.
Like,
yeah.
It's they had all the ideas on Rishi, and they put all of them right. So it's like going to Disney World. Like, I could stand in line for this. I could stand in line for this. I could decorate that. But where the heck is this room? And oh, my PvP match just popped. So I guess I'll go do that. I did put a poll on Twitter, and it's very simple. Do you love strongholds in SWTOR? 4 people have voted. Yeah, they all love strongholds. So
no, they don't.
Maybe, no, it's 100 to 0
no, it's not,
right
not
now.
Anymore.
Not for long.
Not
Marcus
for long.
is on it. Marcus is on the case.
So
we might just be in the minority on this, and we have lost touch with our audience.
No, CB, I disagree. I think it's a great question to ask, because in my world, I'm just like, I don't need another stronghold. I go to Nar Shaddaa and I get my legacy and the GTN or whatever, and I leave. I have other strongholds, but I don't need other strongholds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to just comment on your true content thing. I was talking with one of my teammates on my Thursday team after the op, and I was really down about the game, and we were just talking about this content question. And I said, well, they should, I'm not saying I want a new op right now, but they could be creating a new war zone or a new deathmatch arena. And that idea got shut down really fast, because I guess PvP players just look at that like, it's just another place for me to fight other players. That's not content. Rebalancing the classes is content for PvP. And I was just like, that is the dumbest idea I've heard. And then I've come to accept it to be true after I jumped off my pedestal there on Thursday.
Okay.
It's, like our idea of what content is probably is steeped in our love of PvE. And we're just not, it's like males and females communicate differently. And the problem is SWTOR doesn't just have two genders, it has like 27 different genders trying to coexist.
Yeah.
We're on a continuum for real. Like, society doesn't even understand what happens in MMOs. Like, just because we play the same thing for a small moment in our week doesn't mean we're the same kind of player. And that's what we're getting at. So basically, if you have 10 people working on content for an MMO, there's no way to keep 1,000 people happy. And those are also arbitrary numbers. I don't know the truth.
Okay. Let me get back to we'll get back to the notes. There was a couple more things. Like I said, it is planned you will be able to mount everywhere in the Alderaan Stronghold. And he said, apologies for the doors being wonky. The patch we pulled for the PTS just missed getting those fixes, but they will be fixed for live. All right. Now, class changes in 6.1. Eric put this out.
His can is invisible. He was drinking out of his soda. Yeah, look at that.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. Technology.
Eric put this out a few days ago. Hey, folks, thanks for the feedback so far. Keep it coming. There's a couple of changes that are going to make based on feedback. First, we're not going to make any of the listed Sorc or Sage changes in 6.1.
That's right, you're not, Eric. That's right.
Those changes are part of larger changes that are coming for healers. However, as many of you pointed out, it has knock-on effects for DPS as well. And for that reason, they're going to hold those changes until a future patch when the rest of the changes are planned. Second, they have an additional quality of life change for Marauders and Sentinels coming in 6.1. This is for Carnage Marauders and Combat Sentinels. The Fanged God Form tactical item now only removes the hyper buff when a damaging ability other than Massacre is used. Previously, the buff was removed on any ability other than Massacre, not just damaging abilities. And similar for the Sentinel. It's called the Fanged God Form tactical item.
I miss it.
So there you go.
I miss it so much.
You mean being a Marauder?
Yes. I miss it.
We actually battle res you far less now than we used to, Marcus.
But at least the Marauder killed Emperor Palpatine.
I'm not talking about Rise of Skywalker right now.
With its damage rebound.
Yep.
I just want to comment. Okay, so a couple episodes ago we talked about this, and I was talking about Force Heal and the way Ray explains it on Pisana, and how it really sounds to me like a corruption heal. And I don't remember who it was, but they did some research and let me know on Twitter that it's actually a Jedi move. And I understand that the way it was presented in the movie makes it feel Jedi. I'm just talking about the words. The words used by Rey, you are not going to change my mind that that was a corruption heal. Because I never feel in SWTOR like the Jedi Sage stuff is like killing themselves to keep the team alive.
Right.
But the descriptions of the moves in the Sith sorcerer side, they directly explain that it's a transfer of vitality.
Yes.
So, it's just a thing where JJ, play SWTOR, do yourself a favor. You don't need to direct movies anymore. Just don't create a Marauder, okay? Yeah. That's my plea. No, it's really not. So
I miss him. I miss her.
Oh.
It's sad.
Wow, that just killed our whole vibe. So let's get back to class balance changes.
Yeah, so the 6.1, in addition to Alderaan Stronghold and story update in 6.1, there are also a host of class changes coming, and then we're going to go over those. There was a little dev note. Meteor Brawler's Firefall effect was doing more burst damage than intended overall and is being reduced. Fixed an issue where Veteran Ranger set bonus was not getting a benefit from power loaders. Update to the Veteran Ranger 6-piece set bonus. Each shoulder cannon rocket has a 75% chance to trigger an additional rocket. When shoulder cannon is put on cooldown, it applies autocannon to you for 60 seconds, firing a rocket at your current target whenever you deal damage. This additional rocket can fire once every 10 seconds. And dev note, the Veteran Ranger set was intended to be the more sustained focus set for advanced prototype discipline, and we realized it was underperforming in that regard. We have slightly modified its functionality to improve its effectiveness and give more consistent damage. And advanced prototype. Energy and kinetic damage buff from high energy gas cylinder increased to 5%, up from 3. Power bracer damage buff increased to 10 from 5. Blood tracker damage buff increased to 5, up from 3. Dev note, advanced prototype was underperforming in DPS output, apparently, so we slightly increased their passive damage bonuses in the above 3 changes. Power load.
Joe?
Yeah.
I want to step in on this, and I know we have a lot more, but I just want to comment about the Goldilocks quality in these patch notes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think this sucks. I'm going to be bold here. I think it is garbage that things that are doing well, we got to bring it back because it's doing too well. Things that are not doing well, I guess we got to fix it.
Okay.
You released a content update that you called 6.0, and I know you have to have something to put in your patch notes, but why is all of this DPS a problem? Like, are suddenly all of your nightmare raids getting cleared every single day by 500% more people? Is it just a PvP thing? Like, in the dev notes, I want to understand why it's not okay for DPS to be doing DPS. And also, it seems like their set bonuses were not as cleverly constructed as they thought, because what's happening in the Sork world and why they chose not to roll out the Sork changes is because they want to nerf the healers, but the healers are using a DPS set because they did not create a good DPS set for healing, because the DPS set about the Gathering Storm or whatever, it uses force, speed, and polarity shift as the things that trigger the set bonus, and all 3 Sork classes have those moves.
Right.
And so it's actually not a lightning set bonus, it's the Sork set bonus. And so they can't touch it the way they wanted to unless they create a system where corruption does not benefit from the set bonus. Okay. But I guess the game doesn't work that way. So that's 2 different gripes. Like, can you just create classes and let us play? Like, it's the same as a basketball player saying, let them play, stop calling these fouls. Like, I don't understand, and it really makes it hard for me to enjoy what I do in the game. Because it's like BioWare, like, I should DPS less, because if BioWare ever looks at my Star Parse logs, they'll be like, oh, Doc is a good sorcerer now. I guess we need to nerf it. And that's an incredibly personalized statement, because I know they're looking at hundreds of sorcerers, and it's never going to come down to just me. But it, like, power text, you probably shouldn't play too well because it's coming. Snipers, you probably shouldn't play too well because it's coming. And it's like, it's this constant manipulative, abusive thing. Like, if you play too well, the nerf stick is coming.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I'm done.
Well, I can understand where if something is, I remember we were talking and somebody was saying a power tech move was hitting for 100,000, right? I understand where that move may be too much, but what I don't understand is how they decide that these nerfs happen. Because when I look at the parse charts for the top DPS, it's always an operative. And then the power tech or marauder, whoever is always, then they're going to get nerfed. So I want to know where it comes from. Is it focused on PvP? Is it just whoever's the biggest complainer in PvP, they win and they get the nerf? I don't know. I always am confused on where these things come from, and they don't tell us that, okay, in our studies, PvP has shown that the operative is doing too much, so we have to nerf something. Okay, but the Juggernaut, the Juggernaut Tactical, I don't know what it's called, is only available once you get a schematic, I think. And I've been waiting for it, but it's not coming to Kaizyken. So did they realize that that's going to make the Juggernaut too powerful? So they're just never going to release that schematic for the Juggernauts to be able to get this one tactical, which is going to be their best in slot. But instead of saying, look, we've made a mistake, this tactical is going to make a Juggernaut too powerful, we're not going to release it. We just keep going back to Kaizyken every week looking for this one tactical schematic to show up.
Right. I don't know.
Me neither.
That's an interesting question, though.
I would like to just point out that on the Parsley leaderboards right now, the top 20 parses in the game are all Scoundrel or Agent. And out of that, I think 16 of them are Gunslingers. One's a Scoundrel, so that's the same thing. And then there's 2 Operatives in the list. So,
what spec are they using? Can you tell?
Yeah, Dirty Fighting for the top 4, Sharpshooter for the next 2, Dirty Fighting, Sharpshooter, Concealment Operative, Dirty Fighting, Ruffian, Dirty Fighting. It's mostly Dirty Fighting.
So I
guess
dot
there's
spec?
a bug. There's a bug with it.
Okay, so if there's a bug for that, then this leaderboard is not useful.
Yes.
I guess it might be that since they have 2 guns, maybe the DPS is beating out. But there's operatives in this list, so it's not all Republic side. I guess the thing that I'm curious about is, like, I get it, 100,000 DPS on one move if it crits.
The second gun is triggering a tactical that it shouldn't. That's from...
That's just not doing your homework before you create the thing you're creating.
Yeah, but everybody... I can make a cabinet door here and then realize I made it wrong. And then have to adjust and fix it. It's the same thing.
Would you install it in someone's house first?
I can't say I never have.
Are you in 6.0 for your business, Marcus? Like, what's going on here?
Oh no, I know that I understand. I just don't understand where their balance is coming from, and they don't tell us that. And I guess that's what makes me, and I'm only talking about myself here, really frustrated over. And it makes me think of like a Bowinkle, and all I want to say is this is bullshit. Because I don't know where it comes from, and they don't tell us. Oh, they say, "Oh, we've seen that they're overperforming," but where are they overperforming? They could say operations, and then okay, like thank you, but we don't get that information. So it's really hard for me to agree with these changes when in my content, when I was playing as a Marauder, my DPS was terrible all the time, but if they nerfed me when they did for the ferocity window, that I lost DPS there, but I never felt like I was overpowered to begin with.
I don't feel overpowered right now either because I'm not clearing things. Like that's the thing. I don't feel like this era of the game is like, I don't feel like what the sorcerer is doing is unfair compared to the challenge of the game. And so it feels to me like what they're saying is our game became too easy, and instead of making the content hard, we're going to just bring all the classes down. And so then when you look at the fights, you know what the potential was, and you know that you're underperforming now because BioWare chose to make you underperform, which is different than not understanding your class.
Right.
Right, and that's the bad feeling about this.
That just makes me miss Chuck and Brian.
Oh, rip. Not rip, they're fine. Okay.
We're all fine here.
Let's not start that rumor on OotiniCast.
All right. Let's see. Getting back to the show notes. Power load tactical now increase. This is for advanced prototype still. Power load tactical now increases energy burst crit chance by 100%. Dev note: we noticed this tactical wasn't getting a lot of use and was extremely situational, so we added a bit of an auto crit aspect to it to solidify it as the burst tactical choice for advanced prototype
Don't use
players.
the auto crit, or they're going to nerf it in a month. It's a trap.
Well, one thing I've noticed, I mean, it definitely feels like, and this is kind of understandable, when you add a whole new slot to the game and it's designed so that every class like gets different ways to like change their rotations and like get different buffs and it changes the way every spec can play. That's very complicated, and it's not too surprising that we're getting fixes and balance changes and all kinds of stuff when you have that sort of situation, because we haven't had something like this for a while. Remember, we had like the same set bonuses for multiple expansions. Like they settled down into one set bonus, and then they just kept those pretty much until 6.0 dropped.
Yeah, they did.
And so not only do we have like all these new set bonuses that they also have to balance, but they also decided to add the tactical, which is like a whole different ball game. So
the difficult thing though about doing that, and I'm talking only from a sorcerer perspective, they made the set bonus decision more of a test of, do you understand what you're doing? Because there's only one correct choice, at least as a lightning sword. You look at what those set bonuses are going to do to your rotation, and I did not feel like, oh, I could try this one. I mean, one of them makes Volt Rush do something, but Volt Rush kills your rotation. I can't figure out what I was supposed to do with that move. So I think that if you want to have 5 different sets for each class, you want to create them in a way that does about the same kind of thing, because they're funneling players into, like, there still is only one set bonus for most of the classes. It's just there's other options.
Right. All right. So operative concealment, acid lash tactical now increases acid blade damage by 60%, down from 100%. And then Dev Note, they were doing too much damage, reducing the benefit on the tactical. Lethality, Synox shots now increases toxic blast damage by 75%, down from 100%. And lethality operatives, toxic blast is becoming their highest priority ability with this tactical, and changing their rotation in a way we did not intend. Because of this, we're reducing the damage buff given by the Synox shots tactical while ensuring it remains competitive. Let's see, and then Sages. Enduring Bastion after Force Barrier now absorbs roughly 18% less damage. Update to the Gathering Force 6p set bonus. Using Force Speed now reduces the active cooldown of Mental Alacrity by 5 seconds, down from 10 seconds. The duration of Mental Alacrity is now increased by 5 seconds, down from 10 seconds, and requires Mental Alacrity to be used while Force Speed is active. So definitely some changes there. Seer, Soothing Protection now heals for roughly 12% more, so they're at least trying to get some healing balances in, if they're not gonna, since they can't do that one that they were gonna do. Vanguards, reduce Meteor Brawlers, whatever it is, Ion Fall by damage by 25%, and the effect was doing more burst damage than intended, is being reduced. Fixed an issue where Veteran Ranger set bonus was not getting a benefit from charged loaders. And update to the Veteran Ranger 6p set bonus. Each shoulder cannon rocket has a 75% chance to trigger an additional rocket. When shoulder cannon is put on cooldown, you get the autocannon effect, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. So these are...
Why not just let it crit twice all the time?
I don't know. 75%, it does seem like a weird
75%,
a weird 75%
choice. 75% of the time it works all the time. I mean, I mean, come on. Like,
right. Yeah,
I think
if it's 25%, it feels like, every once in a while I get a little bonus. If it's 50%, it's like, okay, that's a 50% damage increase overall, in the long term. But 75% is kind of a weird number to choose. I agree. It's like, why isn't it doing it all the time if it's doing it 3/4 of the time?
It's the Goldilocks effect, everybody. Too hot, too cold, just right. I think they wanted the best a class can do to be 20,000 damage per second. And people are doing 26, and everyone's going to get nerfed until that becomes the reality, kind of like 11K in the other era, the 5.0. And that's the only way that these notes make sense. Is it's just nerf, reduce, nerf, reduce. And I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, Chill. Like, listening to you read this, it's really bumming me out.
Okay.
And it's not your fault. Like,
I get
notes, these notes suck, Eric. They suck. Like, it makes me question why we're talking about your game right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I'm serious. So there we go.
Okay, so as you see, we now gotten to the point where we're doing the mirror image ones, but there were some bug fixes, and it's basically Gunslinger, Dirty Fighting fixed an issue where Dirty Blast dot from the exploited weakness tactical was dealing more damage than intended, and Sharpshooter fixed an issue where Agitating Energies tactical was refreshing Vital Shot and taking its damage more often than intended.
I just where is it doing too much damage? Is it? I guess I'm just gonna have to send the question because I don't know. I really think it just comes down to PvP. It has to.
I suppose so. Yeah, right. Especially when it comes to like burst damage and stuff like that. Because if you have something that's like critting and it's just exploding people in PvP, it gets to be very very balance changing very quickly.
Isn't the point of PvP to be kind of sport-like, though? Like, it's just a fact. Some sports players are better than other sports players. If one is beating you, maybe you should play better.
But I do understand the other side of that coin, because now with the ranked changes, which I think are bad, where in order to be in the top 96, even if you're the best player, but you don't get 200 wins, you can't be in that top tier of player.
Then so get 200 wins.
Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying is they're gating you that you can't be the best of the best unless you get 200 wins. So now, if you're a Sork and you're overperforming everybody else, they're going to want to take away your DPS because you're overperforming. Yeah. I don't know where it comes from. I really don't.
Right. Intezar Noor in chat is saying, I bet the spread between an average player's DPS and a high-end player is much higher than they expected. And that's certainly possible, too.
But if you're taking the outcome of ranked and you're changing it for the lower-end player, then that's not understanding how populations work, because there is a disparity. Right? One person doing an excellent rotation in PvP conditions doesn't mean everyone can. And 96 is a small number. Okay? It's not like everyone can fit in there. Those 96 players are overperforming no matter what they play. Right? Like, if you're complaining about, like, I don't know, is the top 96 right now 70 Sorks and then 20 whatever? Or is it 92 gunslingers and then 4 scoundrels? Like,
right.
I don't, but then what is the breakdown? Because it's not going to be equal for all the classes. Like, there's going to be a class that has 30, and there's going to be a class that has 17, and there's going to be 2 classes that have 15, and then a couple classes that only have a max of 5. And then you're at 96 before you, like, there's 16 classes in this game with 3 specs each. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Okay.
It just comes down to, is it who's complaining the most?
Apparently me.
Well, you're not complaining. Yeah, but you're not complaining. If I understand,
I'm counter-complaining.
Yes,
I am countering their complaint.
Well, no. If I'm reading you right, you're saying, like, let everybody just play. If I'm better than somebody else, who cares? Tell them to step up their game. I guarantee a hard mode raider versus a story mode raider, their parse is higher because they have to be better. They can't just hit 1 and 2 like they do through the class story. They have to actually understand how to play the game.
But that's the thing. Once you understand how to play the game, it's not being rewarded. It's being punished.
Yes.
Like that's the key, Marcus, is it goes against everything I believe about the pursuit of mastery. In education, in your craft, in your career. And I really meant it when you were talking, Chill, about how this thing is getting buffed to cause an auto crit. I was like, don't use it because they're going to nerf it. And I wish I was joking, but these posts make me feel like that's the direction of the game. Don't use the tacticals because we're going to nerf it. Don't use the set bonus because if too many of those people win in ranked PvP, we're going to nerf it. And I'm not even messing up anyone's world because I'm not in ranked PvP.
So
like, I don't play it.
Well, Intasar in our chat just did a quick check. He said in the top 96, he only saw 2 Sorks, and it looks like it's mostly assassins.
Oh, well, nerf those guys. That's what I'm talking about. It thanks Intasar for sharing that. I don't have the Twitch chat up right now just because of my screen setup. I don't understand it. Like I'm clearly emotional about this.
Mm-hmm.
It just what percentage of people even ruin these people's lives in ranked PvP? Like it's probably
Everybody.
That many people do rank. Like I guess I need another poll. Do you play ranked PvP? Yes or no? Okay, that's happening. All right.
Let's move on.
Okay. Now this one I definitely wanted to make sure we touched on because there's a pretty serious bug in the game right now. And Eric said, thanks for the heads up. The team is currently targeting a fix for 6.1, which means it's still in the game, and it's going to be in the game at least until 6.1 drops. It looks like it probably came about as of the drop of Onslaught, but here's what it has to do. It has to do with materials, and you know the new material storage that you have.
Which is the greatest thing ever.
It is beautiful, but there is a bug that you can avoid, but you can also accidentally fall into the trap of accidentally doing. So here's the bug. The bug is if you split a stack of crafting materials from your normal inventory, and then just take that split stack and drop it into the new materials inventory, then the rest of the stack will also vanish from your normal inventory. So you'll get whatever you pulled from that stack, you'll actually get that in your materials inventory, but whatever you left in your regular inventory is disappearing without going into the materials inventory. So that's the bug. The fix or the workaround until there's an actual bug fix for it is if you need to split a stack or whatever, go ahead and split it and then drop it into inventory so that it becomes its own stack, and then you can take that stack and drop it into your materials inventory. Just don't do it straight from the splitting mechanic. Just create a stack and then you can drop it into materials inventory. So there you go. So yeah. So you know how you can take a split stack and kind of move it around with your cursor. You can drop it into inventory, or you can drop it into the new materials inventory, but don't do it that way. Put it in your regular inventory, create the new stack, and if you want to move it into your materials inventory, do it after that. So that's in the game. That could be really nasty, especially with the really expensive stuff, like the embers and all that jazz. So yeah, be real careful about that. But generally speaking, I love the materials inventory too. So yeah, so be careful. It does seem like this one, the workaround should be pretty easy to manage and deal with. But yeah, until then, just know that this is in the game and be careful not to do it. Because you can actually, that could be a lot of materials gone very quickly. All right, there is a maintenance that's going to be happening on the 29th, so tomorrow. It's not, part of a patch. It's not, this is not 6.1. This is just back-end maintenance. So let's see, and then yeah, and then the last thing is at least SWTOR wise, is that Keith Koenig, pretty much the head of SWTOR, gave a nice little greetings for 2020, and we'll read it and we'll stop along the way and we'll talk about it. So there's lots of little good stuff in here. Lots of little details. Happy 2020, he writes. It's been a little while since my last post. Wanted to kick off the year with a bit of an update. Before I do, I really want to say thank you to everyone who has stayed with us and joined us to play SWTOR. It's exciting to see many players on beginning and core worlds, participating with older expansion content, and joining us on Osis, Ondran, Mexshaw, and Corellia. I continue to play the game a lot, as I believe it's vitally important to have the same type of experiences as our players. And I always appreciate that when I know that the devs are in fact playing the game, straight up just as a normal player as well. It enables me to leverage what I learn, which helps me guide future changes with our game. I know a big question on your mind is what's coming next. Here's a quick look at my thoughts on what's coming soon and in the future. Tomorrow, and this is pretty cool, the Umbaran Patrol Tauntaun will kick off as a February subscriber reward. Be a subscriber at any time before February 29th, starting tomorrow, and you will have the Tauntaun waiting for you in your in-game inbox. And although he didn't give a picture of it, Eleva did a nice tweet out with showing it as a picture, and it does confirm that it's a mount and not a pet, which is kind of cool. And so it will have a new creature mount as the Tauntaun mount, so that's pretty cool. The Umbaran Patrol Tauntaun. Let's see. So Game Update 6.1. Many of you had the chance to check out the Alderaan Stronghold and the upcoming class changes on the PTS. We appreciate the feedback. I'm happy to announce, barring any emergencies, that Game Update 6.1 will launch on Tuesday, February 11th. So we now do have a date for 6.1. It's going to be on February 11th. And Game Update 6.1.1 and 6.1.2. So in other words, they're planning on having two non-story updates. Our next two game updates are currently scheduled to be pretty quick on the heels of 6.1. You should expect to see these updates in the next couple of months after 6.1 is live, which is weird because he says quick on the heels and yet it's a couple of months. So I don't know. How big are these? Maybe there's a lot to them and therefore it's going to take, a couple of months to get them out. But it's interesting that quick on the heels and then a couple of months. Maybe he meant, I don't know. I don't know what that... I'm not sure how to read that, actually. They will include some new quality of life changes for Conquest, more class changes, Master Mode, Duxon, and more. Stay tuned to the PTS forum for more details on specifically what is coming in each update. Are you guys going to be trying, Nightmare Duxon at all? Right away,
I hope not. I seriously hope not.
Oh, if we progress through our stuff and we go, sure, but it's one of those things. I'm a hard mode raider, so I'm excited for the Nightmare community to get a new Nightmare operation.
Yeah.
But so basically what I understood from that post was from January 28th or whatever today is to, let's call it March 31st or even April, all that is on the horizon are some quality of life changes, a little story mission, and a stronghold.
Well, Master Mode Duxon is probably...
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Duxon and class changes.
Yeah, so, yeah.
We'll have to see.
You mean nerf changes. Sorry, I had to. But what I guess I'm struggling... Oh, here, you can go through it, and then I'll voice my opinion.
Okay.
Can we get a picture of Keith holding a Nerf stick that has a placard at the top that says Nerf stick on it, and just have him wear some kind of ceremonial SWTOR hat with a robe and just pointing it? Because we need that image, because I feel like he has a magical spell that just nerfs us all. Over and over.
Or a shirt that says "Nerf this guy" and an arrow pointing to the left.
Wait, he's the scruffy-looking Nerf herder? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right, so 2020, the team is working on a lot of exciting things for this year. We'll really have a big focus on quality of life, updated stories, PvP improvements, and much, much more. We want to ensure your time in SWTOR is very enjoyable by having plenty of activities, goals, and rewards. Obviously, that is... It sounds nice, but it's very vague. Very, very vague.
Very.
His lawyer wrote
interesting
that
one of the only ones that's really kind of specific at all is that in terms of narrowing down what it's about is PvP improvements. So interesting that sort of gets a bit singled out. So Because obviously
Well, they're the most
you wouldn't even say
important
that unless there was
population
something
in our
like
game
pretty
still.
close in the pipe, I would say. But yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think you're right, Doc. I think the PvP population, it is the most important, because if they're the ones that are causing the class changes, then clearly they're the most important players in the game.
Well, I think there is something behind that, because if we go to Twitch right now, how's SWTOR doing? That's good. That's good for our show, right? How is SWTOR doing?
You're creating so many
Yeah.
these little polls.
I mean, there's a lot of people, but it's all story and PvP. Is anyone doing an op right now that doesn't mind bringing us into their life?
But I guess what I'm saying is the vagueness. It when you have no news, that's because there is no news. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
When Onslaught was coming, Keith dropped that, not this year's Cantina, the year before, and was like, yeah, 6.0 is coming. At least that's something. But basically what he said was, for the next coming months, you're getting a Nightmare up, you're getting some PvP changes and some quality of life. That's it. That's what we have to look forward to. And we're getting one mission that is Hearts and Minds size. I don't know which mission is Hearts and Minds, but
Jill, do you know that? What mission is Hearts and Minds?
Hearts and Minds is the thing that happens after OSIS, where basically you get a wrap up on like how the Alliance is doing, and then you go to the fleet and you give that interview. That's you give the interview and you
the speech.
Yeah, the speech. That's Hearts and Minds.
Oh, is that the beginning of OSIS?
No, this is after OSIS. It happens after OSIS.
So it's going to be a cutscene mission, is what they're saying.
It could be, yeah. I mean, because that's what that is, yeah.
So that's not gameplay. It's like a cinematic where you have some choices.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but then there was a mission tied to it.
I don't think there
wasn't.
was. It was just
all
go.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
That's a misleading post.
Okay.
Yeah, two people are doing Dread Fortress right now.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying, Marcus, although this is kind of an awkward time, because, I mean, you know, what is it, 3 months ago? 3 months ago now, we had the expansion, so it's kind of early in the cycle to be like, okay, well, now we know when the next expansion is and stuff like that. They can't really do that yet, I don't think.
But why not? They're already talking about 2021 and their 10-year anniversary.
Right. Well, we can get to that. So
yeah.
But they get even more vague. But yes,
exactly.
They do. They do mention 2021. Star Wars Celebration. Right now, we're also looking forward to this year's Star Wars Celebration. We're planning to have a cantina there, and we'd love to see you all in person. We'll have some cool announcements, swag, and many SWTOR developers available for you to meet, which is fine. You know, they've been very good about making sure to have a cantina centered around the celebrations, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And then 2021, SWTOR's 10th year. This seems like a great target to work towards doing something major. More to come, of course, but wanted to let you know that we're starting to plan out the next few years. So there you go. That's obviously incredibly vague.
If there was a video, all you would hear is crickets playing in the background. I'm sorry. It's really disappointing. The first thing that they have to say to me is basically exactly what Musco said a month ago. And it's the exact, almost word for what he said. And I understand what you're saying about a content cycle. But the expansion was short. The gear was, I mean, they weren't kidding when they assured us at the New York Cantina that it was going to be the fastest way to get to your 306 gear than any other time, which is completely true. Mm-hmm. I mean, because once you're at 306, all you have to do is pass your gear to another tune, and
you just get
essentially they get 306.
Yeah, every time you get a 306 piece, you just toss it in your legacy storage, and you get a new set made, no problem.
Right, and I'm trying to be positive. I don't see the horizon of floating on clouds, right? I see a horizon of us, like, like we're crack fiends on the street itching for another fix for some more story content. I'm just saying, like, I don't know what else to say. But because essentially they said, hey guys, it's great stuff is coming, but wait, we can't talk about it for the next 3 months. You know what I mean? I guess I'm the negative Nancy today, because I don't see the positive out of that post. Keith has been known since he took over the game to give us hints of what's coming, and this did not give us any hints.
That actually is a hint, because the alternative to that is nothing, right? Not even mentioning 2021, not even mentioning that there will be a cantina.
But they need to tell us about 2020 before they tell us about 2021.
Okay, well, I mean, if we're talking about would we prefer a roadmap, then I would say yes to that. Oh, that's another Twitter poll. I mean, I'm not doing that. But this post is doing the best that he's allowed to do. Okay, I will say that. I think that by the time April comes around, we'll have more tidbits that indicate wait until the Cantina Celebration. There's that rumor about Star Wars: The High Republic being the next movie thing 400 years before the Phantom Menace or something.
Right.
And, we're the Old Republic, and maybe we're just going to get high, and that's the new game. I don't know. We don't know, because Star Wars is such a big machine, what this game is even allowed to do with the galaxy far, far away. Right. So they have a lot of things to get approved, and 2021 is either 11 months away, but it's also the 12 months after that, which gives them it's a huge window before this something big can even be expected to be downloading into our hard drive.
That's a great point.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. I try and make those.
All right. So I'm not sure what else to say about that. Because
can I say
we're gonna have to wait. Thing? We're gonna have to wait and get more details, basically, because there's not a lot of details in that. After you get past the Tauntaun.
I want to jump ship here. I want to take our craft and not land at our stronghold. And I want to just say it's so awesome that John Williams won his 25th Grammy for the suite composed for Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
I think all of us can agree that John Williams is a huge part of our Star Wars experience. I've never heard anyone say I love Star Wars, but I can't stand John Williams.
Yeah, exactly.
So that just sounds like
that sounds like not a thing. Yeah.
Right. It sounds grammatically flawed. So,
right.
That's so awesome. And every time he's nominated for something, he's won so much that you kind of feel like it doesn't matter whether he wins or not, because he's John Williams. Like, that's the award anyway.
Right. Well, so, he hasn't won a ton of Oscars. I think, what was it, 6 Oscars? And that was, after 52 nominations. But
he's won 25 Grammys.
But 25 Grammys is pretty impressive, too. And I thought it was interesting that it was Best Instrumental Composition. And the cool thing is it's for a ride. It's for a theme park, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Like, this is not from, putting out a record. This is, from like something very different. And I think that's very cool. And that they were actually able to sort of recognize some of the interesting thing he did, because it's used apparently like throughout the whole, this whole area, and it has different feels for different parts of the attraction. Very, very, very clever, and I'm really excited to hear it, because I haven't been able to get there myself. It was recorded by the London Symphony Orchestra, which is awesome, because of course they also did some of the original trilogy music as well. He also received a nomination for Best Arrangement, Instrumental, or a cappella for his version of Hedwig's theme, which is the Harry Potter theme. which he recorded with virtual violinist Anne-Sophie Mutter, which is pretty cool. So another nomination for him for a non-Star Wars bit, and then Galaxy's Edge Symphonic Suite 1, which is really cool. Because you don't
I'll be there in 2 weeks.
Oh, awesome! You'll have to tell us. Now you'll know to pay attention to the music, and this is Grammy Award-winning music, and it has apparently like multiple themes, counter melodies, and a fugal moment, and it can be heard around the resort, which is pretty cool.
I can't wait.
That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I want to hear from you
Blue
about
milk.
it. So
Blue milk, and I'm making a droid with my daughter.
Oh, that's sweet.
I can't
bring
wait.
your money. Those things are
I don't
expensive.
care how much that costs. That's going to be something that I'm going to play with for the rest of my life. I mean, my daughter's going to play with for the rest of her life.
That's going to be awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to hear about that. So, definitely make it loudly known, like when you're tweeting it out, and then when you talk about it on your podcast. So I think that's a good time to kind of do the log out. So let us know a little bit about your show, Marcus, and how people can hook up with it.
So we usually record every other Thursday night. So usually about 11 or 12 p.m. real world time, the podcast goes live. The podcast is Working Class Nerds. My co-host is Nick. I mostly focus on SWTOR. Nick is a console gamer. Console.
Okay. Which one?
Counselor. He plays on the PlayStation.
Okay.
So, and he plays all the games. So we get to talk about a lot of different things on the show. And, we have a lot of guests, and check us out, workingclassnerds.com.
Awesome. Excellent. All right, then. That's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our
Utini Rage
Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel, then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to utinicast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @UtiniCast. You can find contact details for all of us on our website, utinicast.com, which includes how to subscribe to us using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly on Tuesdays at noon Pacific. Go to utinicast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. Thank you to the chat room, and thank you, Marcus.
Thank you so much. May the Force serve you well.
Awesome. And we'll see you next show. All right. Thanks for coming, everyone. We're going to call it there. And I'll be streaming later on once I've done my editing and all that. And how about you guys? Are you going to be, when are you next going to be operating and maybe streaming it out?
This weekend.
Thursday night and then Sunday? No. Our Super Bowl Sunday. Are we streaming? What?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Next time.
Bye.
All right. Stop.